everybody to episode 174 of the F and Marks podcast. And the Brainless one has broken a record. Faster than King Kong Bundy and Nasty Jones.
For the show, right?
Oh my God! No! We keep all the warts in this motherfucker.
Man. Holy!
Yes. Good job, Bobby.
And I'm not even drunk. I am stone sober, and I fucked that up.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this again.
This is episode 174.
174 of the F and Marks podcast.
I'm Jay.
I am the brainless one, obviously.
And those two are. And Jesse, right?
What up?
Yeah. We're doing things a little different this week. We're gonna be doing the episode with the Hampton Roads Horsemen, and since we're all social distancing here, we're doing it. We're recording it via Skype and we're uploading it. So
well, remember, one of us moved away too.
yeah. One of us is moved away up north a bit, and but you know what? This cool way for us to do the show, and as long as this goes off pretty well, we'll do it again, man.
That's good shit, pal.
It's such good shit. So, I don't know.
What in the hell?
I walk alone inside this pit of danger.
Wait a minute. Nobody told us Batista was going to be in the episode?
Yeah. Nice.
Danger!
It's great.
Hello?
I walk alone.
I've been trying to play a little Batista since I now live at the home of David Batista in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, man.
And actually, I was at the NLCS game where he threw out the first pitch.
Sweet.
Now, did he pound his chest like 87 times before he threw his pitch, or what?
I will say, so I saw him throw out the first pitch, right? And obviously I'm there to cover the game for our sister station in St. Louis.
Yep.
I was back in the tunnel when he was walking through it.
Yep.
That man looks big on TV. Holy hell. In person, I was going to try to get a picture, but I was working, so I didn't want to be unprofessional. Plus, he was like guarded by a bunch of security.
Right.
And he slimmed down for Hollywood since, he doesn't have to bulk up for wrestling anymore. So if he's still that large, it's pretty impressive.
That is one more human, yes.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, think about even when he did WrestleMania last year. Like, he definitely didn't look like the same size he was before, but, he was still, he's still in shape, but he was not like Batista from 2010. Oh, God.
Better shape. Looked like he was, in better, actual, cardio shape.
I wouldn't doubt it.
It's probably off less steroids, too.
For a second.
Yeah. But wrestling-wise this week, obviously we got Money in the Bank going on, and we'll make our predictions a bit later. But, let's get into a little bit of the tidbits that kind of happened this week. We had Triple H and Stephanie McMahon selling a whole shit ton of shares of their stock. Geez, I wonder why.
A lot of heavy rumors floating around.
One of the ones out there, and we discussed it last week, is that WWE, that they might be in the process of being sold, and sometimes this is what happens before a sell-off. That people who are stockholders start getting rid of stuff, and it's they've cut a lot of costs, which is another kind of sign that they might be selling. I heard a thing that maybe they might sell by May 15th, which is very far-fetched in my view with everything that's going on. But I don't. I think later in the year it could happen, or even early next year.
To be fair, though, it was Kevin Dunn that was selling the stock last week, and obviously there could have been a big river that needed a new dam that he needed to buy wood for, so that could be the reason why he was selling his stock. Now the fact that Stephanie and Triple H are both selling stock, and I believe it was Stephanie who sold $1.5 million.
And Triple H was close to about $1 million worth of stock.
I mean, that is really starting to be a little bit more suspicious of them actually selling the stock.
Or you got
but still, even with all that stock that they sold, they still
own a lot.
A lot of it.
Yeah,
so,
and
I mean, that could just be them trying to get a little extra cash, maybe during the pandemic before everything starts to tank even more, or they're just doing it for security reasons in that aspect. I mean, you never know.
It could be.
I mean, Vince McMahon sold stuff before. Vince McMahon sold shares in his own company before, and he still owns the damn thing.
Yeah, but he's Satan.
Well, XFL, right?
Yeah, he did that to start the XFL.
Mm-hmm.
Are you seeing the rumors about who's possibly going to try to buy it?
The rumors that we heard were ESPN and/or Fox.
Well, no, like ESPN and Fox like coming together and buying it, and then they're just going to break up content among the two networks.
Interesting.
So that means probably Raw would go on ESPN and SmackDown would probably stay on like.
Not with Monday Night Football.
Then they would probably end up getting SmackDown. Ooh, you know what that means?
NXT.
ESPN. I don't know what they have on Friday nights outside of the NBA.
They have boxing. They do boxing on Fridays, don't they?
But with boxing, I mean, it's such a niche thing. They could move that whenever.
Yeah, and they're trying to get more eyeballs to the ESPN Plus content, so I think that's where a lot of it would go.
Yes, that's the thing. That's the main rumor I've heard, is that Vince wants to move the pay-per-views to ESPN Plus. Now, I don't know what that would do for the network. I mean, I think that would kind of kill the whole network gimmick. Like, what's the point of having the network besides having the whole archive, of course? But like, big selling point of the network is having the pay-per-views.
Yep, no doubt.
Aren't numbers down for the network anyways? And the network, I don't think the network really took off the way they thought it was going to. I think it's been somewhat successful.
It's been successful for sure.
So one thing I'd say towards that is the numbers have gone down, and I think a lot of that has to do with there are now so many over-the-top stuff for like Roku, Fire Stick, smart TVs that like, you've got Disney Plus now, you got Hulu, you got HBO. Like, there's only so many times that you're going to spend $10 a month on a thing, or $15 a month, or $5 a month on a thing where it's like going, all right, what can I cut? And people apparently are deciding that WWE Network is the thing they're cutting. At least that's my hypothesis.
Yeah, I think Vince is liking what he's seeing, what ESPN and ESPN Plus are doing with the UFC. It's a lot of exposure to the UFC, and I think he wants to try to get in on that.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing that kind of be a hamper of a sale to these networks. NBC Universal is still locked into that Raw contract. So
4.5 years.
4.5 years. They'd have to ask for a massive amount of money to buy that out. So at Fox and ESPN, if they want WWE, they're either going to have to let NBC Universal have it for a few years, or they're going to have to pay a lot more money than they normally would for something like this.
Well, and one of the things with that, though, is like going, all right, NBC is going to pay us for our content. All right, great.
Yeah,
it could go like that, too. Obviously, there would be some sort of logistics they need to fix contractually because of a different owner.
I do think that with them, if they do actually get sold to ESPN, that the ESPN Plus option for the pay-per-views makes a lot of sense. And like Jeff said, I'd be curious to see what would happen with the WWE Network, considering that I would say 90% of the reason why people actually buy the network is to get the current pay-per-view for $9.99 every month.
Here's what I think. I think it's going to be a compromise if that actually happens. I think ESPN Plus will have the major pay-per-views like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble,
for Money in the Bank.
Yeah, and then they'll have the secondary shows no one gives a shit about on
the network.
Right.
Yeah. Does Fox have a streaming service?
I
know NBC is watching next week. I don't know if Fox has one.
I believe they do, but it's not super promoted and not super prominent yet.
If they do,
tracking it's 40, by the way.
Yeah.
I know plugs, but
hey, man.
I have to work, so I'm going with a Starbucks Frappuccino.
Hey, we'll play a little Billy D. Williams.
Oh, okay. I
exactly what that meant.
So,
Got something. Found out.
Billy D. motherfucking Williams. Fucking go. Lando Calrissian, who's in The Rise of Skywalker.
He's also in the FMR's Hall of Fame, by the way.
Yes, he is. It does work every time. Dynamite Taste, Nicole 45. And
Every time.
Udio!
They make sure
you ain't booty. Yeah. So going along with the talk of the network, you know what's happening this Sunday after the pay-per-view? Last Ride.
Last Ride, Undertaker.
Oh, is it your doc?
Yeah, and they're trying to do like ESPN with, you know, Jordan's The Last Dance. But they're doing 5 episodes on The Undertaker, and they're sectioning it off by chapters, and they're going to be doing like 3 weeks in a row, taking a couple of weeks off, and then doing the last 2 episodes. So apparently, one review I saw said that this Sunday's one is the one that builds up to Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33. Bobby's favorite Undertaker match in this whole thing.
During what whole thing?
I saw
His entire run?
His entire run.
No, bullshit. That's the
It's your
second
favorite
least.
one.
Second least.
I saw
All right.
a review of that too, and like Undertaker actually talks about being disappointed the way they booked Roman for it.
He should be.
They should have had main events at WrestleMania 32. They should have main events at WrestleMania 32. They should have main events at WrestleMania 32. They shouldn't. Why? Because it's Roman? No, fuck that shit. And that was
They didn't. They didn't main event WrestleMania 32. Brainless one.
It was 33?
It was 33. 32
Yeah,
was
32
Triple
was
H
when-
and Roman Reigns.
Oh, what? Same difference. Does it
32
really
was-
matter?
Sorry.
All I know is that it was Roman Reigns in the main event at a WrestleMania they didn't really need. I mean, it was just like when The Undertaker, or it was like when Triple H fought frickin' Chris Jericho for the Undisputed World Heavyweight Championship, when we all know that the main event should have been The Rock and Hogan at WrestleMania 18. It's just, it's stupid. And now what are they doing with Roman? They're completely wiping him out of their frickin' history books.
It's
Like,
very
nobody
weird.
talks about it.
Yeah, I'll talk. Let
Yeah.
me bring up since you brought it up. I'll talk about the Roman thing. It's very strange to me. He's still all over their website. He's still all over, you know, promotional material. But when it comes to television and packages, and even like a flashbacks of Seth Rollins cashing in on him, and they somehow edited him out. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, why are you trying to keep him off TV? Why are you trying to keep a mystique up about him, or are you really just that pissed he's trying to save his own life?
I almost think that they're pissed off, and like Roman didn't interview this week.
That petty. I can see
And,
petty.
well, the thing is, like, he did an interview this week where he said it has nothing to do with his immune system, actually. He's like, I've got a young family. Like, I just had, my wife just gave birth to twins, and I don't want to bring this home to them, and it's time for me to be safe and secure with my family.
You know, good
So-
for him. I mean, he's in a position where he feels like you know what? I don't need to be risking myself. I'm the top guy.
That's the way the
Vince-
world is
and
right
Vince
now.
can't get rid of me anyway, so he can do whatever the fuck he wants. Good for him.
Yeah, it would be a bad look on WWE if they got rid of him.
Well, one of the things that I've heard, one of the rumors I've heard about this whole Roman Reigns thing is that WWE is wiping him out of their history books as a way for them to be like, well, he doesn't want to be a part of this, so we're wiping him out of the history books so that the fans will get behind Roman once again
So
once he returns.
break him down to build him back up once he returns.
Right? Just so they can
We'll
shove
see.
it right back down our throats once again like they did a couple years ago.
Like,
I'm fine. You know what?
that's
I'm fine
fine.
with Roman Reigns. I'm fine with that. It's
Yeah,
better
well-
than what they're fucking doing now.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Their biggest star right now is a Fiend.
And the Fiend isn't even wrestling on the pay-per-view. Bray Wyatt is.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, see, you get named their biggest star on the 5th biggest show of the year, allegedly.
Right.
Wait, he's fighting against Bray Wyatt?
He's
They got-
fighting with Bray Wyatt.
They got their gold boy, their biggest star in the title picture with freaking Seth Rollins.
Oh God,
The Monday Night Messiah. I'm really sick and tired of it.
I'm sick. I'm so sick of Seth Rollins. I don't know. Like,
See,
And I'm pretty sure all the viewers are sick of him too, because not only we're having empty arena shows, we're all sick of Seth Rollins already. So,
like I've kind of like been okay with the Monday Night Messiah stuff, but like the thing that I'm bothered by with this, Rollins lost not once but twice on WrestleMania to Kevin Owens. Somehow he gets a title shot.
Yeah, we could get into that when we do predictions. Let's not
Yeah, it drives me nuts. Drives me nuts.
Well, it's just like with the whole thing, like Drew McIntyre wins the Royal Rumble, so he challenges Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship, and then Goldberg goes out there on a bullshit victory of winning the WWE Championship, and what happened? Roman Reigns comes out there, I'm next. That shit like that bothers me. It's like you don't even have like a match, you don't have a tournament, you don't have a battle royal. I mean, you guys have a tendency of making number one contenders out of gauntlet match winners. Where, I mean, for crying out loud, Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston are still alive in their gauntlet matches that they've been wrestling over the last couple of years. So you just put Roman Reigns on next. It's like, fucking blow me.
See, like, I would slightly disagree with that because Roman wasn't in the title picture, beat King Corbin a few times. He beat Drew McIntyre the year before at WrestleMania. Like, to me, like, he actually did beat people. He beat people of note, so they didn't need to do a tournament. He beat the people in line, in my view.
Why didn't the Fiend just get a rematch then? That was my whole thing.
Well, they don't do automatic rematches anymore.
Oh, of course. Thanks a lot, Brock Lesnar.
So, but that's that. Yeah.
what'd you do?
Snapshot, baby.
Something again. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out. Like,
So another thing that happened this week, Dark Side of the Ring.
Great.
Oh my, like all of these are really good. Like I had only kind of sparsely heard of the UWF. I thought I had seen the UWF. I think I might have been confusing it with GWF back in the day. But this documentary is one of the greatest things I have ever seen.
I'm going to say is the, what is it, Cocaine and Cowboy Boots?
It's called Dark Side of the Ring, Cocaine and Cowboy Boots.
Herb Abrams is basically the wrestling equivalent of Joe Exotic. That was the best way to put it. I had no expectations from this because I didn't really know too much about the UWF. I've never heard of Herb Abrams. I was like, I'm like, this is basically just a filler one until I get to see the last run of the Legion of Doom, and then the one that I've been waiting for since they decided they were going to do these documentaries, and that's the Owen Hart one, just so we could watch Vince Russo squirm like a little bitch that he is. I didn't kill Owen Hart. Yes, you did, motherfucker.
No, I didn't kill Owen Hart, bro.
It's just the Herb Abrams one, by far now is my favorite one that they've done.
Oh.
I'm actually probably going to watch it later on today because it was that damn good.
Herb Abrams is what some wrestling fans think Vince McMahon is. They think Vince McMahon's this crazy motherfucker who's like hyped up, always working, always probably on something. Herb Abrams was actually like under the influence of something the entire time he was running UWF. So if you don't know the story, Herb Abrams was pretty much a fan who had a lot of money.
He's the Dan Snyder of the
start wrestling promotion. He goes up to Vince. He's like, "Hey, why don't we? I'll try to run the West Coast, and you can have all the other territories." And Vince's like, "No, pal, you can't have that." So he tried to compete with Vince directly, and it was a miserable failure, including a failed pay-per-view with under 1,000 buys.
Dude, they got in like for back then. Gigantic stars were on those shows too.
Oh my God, they had Cactus Jack. They had
Paul Orndorff.
So like
Brian Blair, who was still
they had Sid Vicious when he was like at the top of the card. Like that was, I think, in between his WCW and his WWF run where he was a champion. Like
yeah.
And like it was fully as Cactus Jack. Like I knew of him at that point because I had watched World Class Championship Wrestling. Like he wasn't a huge thing yet, but they had like Jimmy Snuka. They had
Dangerous Dan Spivey, baby.
They had so many like big names. It's like, how can't you draw it with this house? It's like, well, when your promoter's all coked out and doing blow and hookers, I mean, it's tough to promote the show, but like the energy this dude had, like I thought he was going to explode. It was worse than Hulk Hogan.
It's really funny because like he was such a because Herb would commentate the matches and he had no energy when he commentated, and I'm like, this dude's coked out. This guy is the most dull commentator. He doesn't know half the moves. Like,
What
to
a
the point
maneuver.
where he actually won he won worst announcer in the Observer, and then he made a jobber named Davey Meltzer because he was so pissed about it. I know Bobby likes that.
Hey, total brainless annihilation, baby. It's going down. I've already gotten everything set up. All I got to get is the script going. I've already talked to all the major parts that want to be a part of this. It is happening, baby. Fuck you, coronavirus. I'm going to do total brainless annihilation, and it's going to be better than El Gigante versus Nails in Japan.
Yeah.
All right.
That bar is so low, all I have to do is just walk over it, and I'm already exceeding the bar.
But all I can say about this episode of Dark Side of the Ring, there is literally this one part where B. Brian Blair, like when he talks about Herb Abrams, and spoiler alert, he passes away. Not B. Brian Blair, Herb Abrams.
Yes.
But the story is that Herb Abrams basically had a heart attack after doing cocaine and enjoying the company of some female companions. But B. Brian Blair says he did doing what he loved. Cocaine and hookers. I couldn't hold it in. If you think about that statement, it's kind of sad, but I just could not hold in the laughter. I just was like, oh my God. So good.
For as crazy as Herb was and as bad of a businessman as he was, and sometimes wrestlers checks wouldn't clear or whatever, they all seem to really like him. They all seem to really respect him. B. Brian Blair even said, B. Brian Blair, he inherited his dog, right?
Or I think it was his friend, his best friend. I forgot what the dude's name.
Dog named Koki.
Yeah. Cokie. Yeah, that good stuff.
That'd be like if I had a dog and named it Mary Jane.
Being a dog.
Last name's Mary Jane. So, if you have not checked out that episode of Dark Side of the Ring, make sure you check it out. They have it up on YouTube. It's not hard to find.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Owen Hart one.
Yeah,
same.
This is going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be a real good one. It's going to end, I guarantee you, it's going to end with Jim Cornette and Vince Russo having another showdown about.
Well, they're not in the same room together, but I wonder if they like they're doing with The Last Dance. They're showing each other's interviews to the person talking.
Pretty much. I mean, like in the New Jack was it Brawl for All. In the Brawl for All one, they were in that together, and
got those two guys in the same room together. No
they were not in the same room.
No, they'll never be in the same room. Actually, I think I want to say
I want to kill that motherfucker. Like 100 times.
Russo has a restraining order against him.
Yeah.
The two of them should be on the undercard in Mike Tyson's next fight.
That's ludicrous.
Brett was in the screw job one. I'm wondering if he's in this Owen Hart one too. I wonder if they talk to him about the screw job and Owen Hart in the same interview. So I wonder if we're going to see Brett.
Possibly.
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
I just want to know if they're going to accuse him of killing Owen Hart.
Vice will not accuse him of killing Owen Hart, but I'm sure Jim Cornette might.
Well, of course he will.
Jim Cornette will definitely accuse him of that. I'm sure other wrestlers in the doc will as well. Russo has his friends in the business, and he has many enemies. So I'm sure we'll hear from both.
Well, one thing I think for this episode, it's like one of the first times, it might even be the first time that we're going to actually hear from Owen's widow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they interviewed her for this, and when they approached her about this, like they emailed her, and she was like they said what they were hoping to do, and then she had like questions for them, and the producers were kind of like going, it helped us shape where we were going with this story so we could tell it in the best way and the most delicate way in this with a matter like this.
Yeah, because I know what was her name? Georgia.
Georgia is one of his sisters. I think it's Martha.
Martha.
That's right,
It is
Martha. And
I think they interviewed the kids too.
She's never really talked about this. She won't even let Owen go into the Hall of Fame because and you know what? I don't blame her.
I don't either.
But beyond that, like it'll be interesting hearing them. I'm sure they're going to talk to Brett. I don't think they'll talk to Vince, but it'll be interesting since they've gotten JR for a few of these things for JR to talk about this.
I don't think Vince has done any one of these at all. I don't think.
No. He probably doesn't want these stories out.
No current WWE employee will do it.
Yeah.
I'm sure he wasn't too happy about the one with Jimmy Snuka, where he basically found out he paid to get a murderer off. So.
Well, he also looks like a piece of shit with the whole Chris Benoit thing.
Well, the screw job makes him look like a piece of shit also.
True. But like that's still alive. Guerrero and Chris Jericho. That's it.
And that's what Nancy's sister said as well.
Yeah.
And the only other person like that I guess has had any contact would be Jim Ross, who the wake, and people did not want Jim Ross there. So, but all of these have been outstanding from season 1 through all the ones this year. I can't say enough good things about these.
It's a very good show, and if you're a wrestling fan, even if you know what. Even
it's just good storytelling.
If you enjoy mysteries and like controversy and all that shit, you love it.
Especially if you're an old school wrestling fan, you're getting like behind the scenes type.
Yeah, I got a great idea for a season 3 episode. It's right up your wheelhouse. The Black Scorpion.
Oh, I would love if they did expose the Black Scorpion. I mean, you want to talk about the dark side of wrestling, and then they could sit there. I mean. Clash of the Champions 13 would have to be pretty prominent there.
Oh, then we got.
I don't know. That might be like a season 5 episode. There's a lot more stories darker than the Black.
Definitely darker, but like the whole thing with Ole Anderson and like getting that old freaking curmudgeon to just be pissed off on camera would be great alone.
I mean, if they could do one on Primetime Brian Lee.
Almost nobody knows Primetime Brian Lee. He was the fake Undertaker, and he was Primetime Brian Lee, and he sucked.
He was the Undertaker's cousin.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they could do one on Katie Vick.
Oh, God. Yeah, that'd be a good episode.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do one on China.
Oh, yeah, that would be a good one.
It's probably gonna happen
since Russo and China were friends, I'm sure they would be able to do that.
So
her all involvement with Triple H and the drug controversies too with X-Pac and all that, like yeah.
Ron.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they could show
That's
clips from that porn that she did with X-Pac. Oh God.
Oh yeah, that'd be the revenge porn.
Yeah.
Still on Pornhub, by the way.
And maybe they can interview Brad Maddox about it. Xavier Woods. Oh wait, not Xavier Woods. He's still working for the WWE.
No, but they could talk to Alberto Del Rio. But you already knew that.
Oh God.
Yeah, there are so many like things in wrestling they can do about this. Like Iron Sheik. I mean, the stories from that dude alone.
It could be a
Iron
whole season.
Sheik already has his own doc.
He does. I saw it. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
They could.
Fucking up Brian B. Blair!
Yeah.
Brian Blair.
So anybody who is watching this on Facebook or what have you, if they're doing an episode of Dark Side of the Ring, what would you want to see out there? What would you want to see them cover? There are a lot of crazy things that have gone on in wrestling.
I think they're going to have to wait for like when Rey Mysterio retires from WWE, since no current WWE employees are doing this. Because when he was, I think it was in Mexico where he killed a dude in the ring. Obviously not on purpose, but I mean, still that could be something that they could cover.
Ooh, that's a very good one. He killed Pero Aguayo Jr.
Yeah.
That's how you pronounce it.
I mean,
my triple A.
Another thing that I would absolutely love is if they would talk about the times when matches turned into shoots. My favorite one is Antonio Inoki going against the great Antonio. I don't know if you guys have seen this thing before. If you have not, please take a moment to, it's like 4 or 5 minutes long. Go and a big fat dude, and Antonio Inoki is very much like respect the business and like you know how to work.
He's the Hulk Hogan of Japan.
But basically, during this match that they have, like Inoki's trying to do moves, and you can tell the great Antonio, one, doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and two, is not working at all. He just starts pounding his fucking gigantic gut. Boom. Boom. Then finally, you could see in his eyes, Inoki just like gets this fire, and then all of a sudden beats the living crap out of him. Like where one point after like he knocks him the hell out, then great Antonio gets up and his face is just full of blood. But like I'm telling you, you watch this match, it is like at first you're like going, what the? He's trying to put him in like arm bars and do things, and like great Antonio is doing nothing to help him. It's fantastic.
Yeah, takes two to tango in the ring, and I'd stiff him too.
They could do the plane ride from hell too.
Plane ride from hell, I think, will definitely be a thing.
What's the plane ride from hell?
Years ago, I think it was around 2002 or 2003. They were coming back, I believe, from Europe, and everybody was on a chartered plane, and there were a few things of note that happened, it ended up getting Kurt Angle fired because he and Brock Lesnar were like doing like a shoot wrestling match on the plane, on the fucking plane. And then Ric Flair was apparently walking around the plane in nothing but his robe and nothing else, and propositioning basically every woman on the plane and showing off his stuff. Yeah. And there's way more to that, and I believe they said something to the effect of within the plane wasn't working and it was hot.
And everybody was going.
This was a European flight. They were coming back from Germany, I think.
I think you're right.
And I thought it was Mr. Perfect that got into the fight with Brock Lesnar.
Who did I say?
You said Kurt Angle.
Yeah, it was Mr. Perfect.
Maybe for another few years.
Mr. Perfect ended up was the one who got fired.
Because I remember he ended up in like Impact Wrestling, and he goes, "I'm the guy that beat the shit out of Brock Lesnar," and I'm like, "Oh shit!"
And then he died.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, right before that, fun story about Mr. Perfect. My dad was on a business trip in Chicago, and No Way Out was there. I think it was 2002 No Way Out. The one where NWO came back. And he's on the bus. He's on like a bus, and Mr. Perfect's like sitting next to him. They talked to Mr. Perfect for a while. He told me about it. I'm like, oh, that's real cool. And then a year later, like less than a year later, Mr. Perfect was dead. He's like, oh man, that sucks. Like my dad's not like a wrestling fan.
Right. I mean, he's in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Mr. Perfect, his last opponent in WWE was actually Edge.
So they were coming back from London, and it was a full rented out 747 that Vince chartered with an open bar. Plane was just filled it was just everybody from WWE. It was wrestlers, costume designers, the cameramen, the girls. It was just all WWE people. And it was the last day of the tour, too. So it was like the last day of school type feeling on the plane.
Right. So
I'm calling the people from Vice now.
The plane ride from hell. This sounds like the most awesome shit of all time.
Oh,
Good
and
shit, pal.
acid too. Apparently, there was acid on the plane.
I think there was one point when Perfect and Brock were wrestling with each other that they thought that the door was going to open.
Oh.
And I think that's part of the reason why it didn't go down well. And I think somebody ended up falling asleep and ended up getting a lot of makeup put on them.
They were playing tag with shaving cream, apparently. and then Flair comes out in his robe, nothing underneath.
Which is not an uncommon occurrence with Ric Flair and Airplane.
No.
Woo!
Even at 70 years old, Ric Flair probably still does that with Wendy.
Yeah. Beefy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Hit it and quit it.
It's good shit,
Thanks,
pal.
sir.
Mm.
But
Oh, and then Goldust started serenading a flight attendant saying, "We're gonna fuck tonight."
that's way to lay it on, man. I mean, like, you want to make your move, just say it, I guess.
Hey, all I gotta say is that's one way for her to remember the name. Goldust.
They cut Michael Hayes' mullet when he was sleeping on this flight too.
Yes, Vice, for the love of God, please tell me the people from Vice are watching this podcast. Please do the airplane ride from
We
hell.
can tag
Make
him,
sure to
man.
tag Vice.
We will
Apparently,
tag Vice and we'll put hashtag plane ride from hell.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of those people are no longer got a contract with WWE,
Yeah.
so I think they'd be okay.
It's pretty much
talking about
like
it.
Rock's the only one, right?
Well, technically, I
I
think
think X-Pac might have some sort of Legends deal, but like Triple H, obviously.
Well, he don't care what he does.
I think Kurt Angle's just furloughed, which means he's not. Which I think he still is technically
They
an
said
employee.
he was released. I think he's
to retire.
he's out. He's retired anyway. Who gives a fuck? He doesn't
Well,
give a shit.
this plane ride from hell resulted in 5 lawsuits from flight attendants.
Oh.
Yeah. Season 1 or season 3,
Right.
episode 1, Flight from Hell. Tell me.
I think they could do a pretty good one, like on the click too, and
And obviously, all the lawsuits were harassment lawsuits.
right, no doubt.
They could do one on the finger poke of doom too.
It'd be a good movie.
Yeah, they have all sorts of stories. I mean, Bret Hart's book is so full of them. I think they could honestly. I think one that would be good. They've done a documentary on him. Do one on the Dynamite Kid.
That would be.
Oh,
That
yeah,
dude-
I mean, excellent. Even the British Bulldog too.
Yeah,
The British Bulldogs, both of them. I mean,
yeah.
why the fuck not?
Oh, and apparently, Mr. Perfect was about to leave anyways, but they single-handedly just held him responsible for the door incident.
Yeah, it wasn't Brock. It wasn't the.
Well,
the
yeah, they weren't gonna punish Brock for anything. He was
But he died.
at the
Mr.
time.
Perfect died the following year.
Yeah, sad. I believe Mr. Perfect died from doing an 8-ball.
Man, that'd be
For a speedball.
So,
Rip.
yeah, Rip. Mr. Perfect, one of my favorite Intercontinental champions of all time.
One of my favorite wrestlers, period, of all time.
Yeah.
I love Mr. Perfect.
So,
His son just got released.
sad. Mark's Hall of Famer Curtis Axel, who will be talked about a little later in the podcast. All right, so let's get into a little bit of wrestling for this week. I think we'll start with AEW because we'll finish off with Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
today.
I just finished watching before you guys.
Yeah, I got about an hour, and then I got to start heading towards work.
Sure,
We'll breeze through this.
All right, so we have Cody Rhodes, who is coming up against Lance Archer soon at Double or Nothing, but he had a tune-up match with Joey Janela here, and Cody goes over, if they're going to continue this thing of wins mean stuff, Cody needed to win, unless Joey Janela was going to be take his place in the tournament. So,
Right.
Well, you could have told, like, you could have seen from the beginning when they brought in Lance Archer that it was going to be him and Cody for the new title, because that's the way they were building when they brought Archer in, was like he was coming after Caesar. Then all of a sudden they stopped talking about, well, I guess because that was right when the pandemic happened and they had to stop doing live shows. So like when they started the tournament, I could see the writing on the wall that it was going to be Cody versus Archer for the new title.
Same.
Yeah, they're really pushing Archer right now.
Well, because they had him slam a bunch of jobbers at first, and then they had him beat Colt Cabana, who's not a small dude. That's a big guy right there.
Yeah.
But last week's Dynamite, he goes QT Marshall. Like,
they put him with Jake the Snake, and
which is good for him. Yeah,
that's good. They really want to put a rocket in his ass.
I don't think Lance is that good on the mic because I don't think he had a lot of mic experience in Japan. I think putting in with somebody like Jake, and then they bring Jake back last week, and he brings Snake.
Yeah, that was a cool thing, and you know what? Let's talk about that.
That was awesome.
I know one thing.
Flashback to my childhood, seeing Jake with a snake, man, torturing Brandy. That was awesome.
Yeah, one thing I did notice about that, and to touch base on it really quickly, is Jake had a segment, and Brandy ended up on the ground, and Jake took out his snake, an actual snake, not his snake, and put it on Brandy, and it crawled all over her, and then he got in the ground and kind of just like dry humped her in the middle of the ring and everything.
And then the snake went between her legs.
Yeah.
So if we look at the whole Archer story here, though, Archer beat Dustin last week, and this week he beat QT Marshall, who's another part of the Rhodes faction. And then the fact that Britt Baker came out and DDT'd Brandy, left her hanging, and then, basically because of Jake and because of Archer, all the Rhodes connections in AEW have now been touched, and this makes it a super personal, I am going to kill you for the TNT title.
There was a build for this match, though, because Brandy had a promo. She had a pre-recorded promo before the match saying pretty much, Jake, you don't know me. Don't fuck with people you don't know. All that kind of shit. And that built up the match. And then she comes out with QT Marshall. Britt hits the DDT. I want to talk about Britt in a second. And that really set up, because, you don't fuck with the dude's wife, right?
Right.
So Cody's going to want to kick the fucking shit out of Lance Archer, and they played it off well. It's like, oh, where's Cody? Oh, he's probably in the shower in the trainer's room.
And if you want to add another layer to this, go back to WWE 30 years ago. What happened with Rick Rude and Jake the Snake Roberts? Rick Rude was fucking with Jake's wife, so Jake
spray painted on his tights.
Yeah, so he tried to kiss her and do all sorts of things and tried to seduce her, but Jake the Snake Roberts, the character, knows messing with a man's wife is not something you should do because he had it happen to him.
Oh, it's easy heel heat.
Yeah, and that's part of the whole Jake the Snake character also that I think they're trying with the Lance character. They're big mind fuck guys.
Yeah.
I mean, Lance does have it physically. He's a big guy and he's very powerful, but they're trying this murder hawk mind fuck thing. I'm the dominant guy, and that's how Jake was when he was in the ring. Jake wasn't the best wrestler, but he was the best, I'm going to
messing with you.
Hey, my character's going to be in this guy's head type.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I wanted to bring up, and I was reading a lot online the last couple of days, is there was people out there that were really upset about what Jake did to Brandy because of the fact that he busted out the snake and he put the snake on her, and then he went and dry humped her, and it's like, dude,
20 years ago, nobody batted an eye at it.
But it's just the way the society is now. Everybody's just a bunch of freaking snowflakes that freaking cry and complain about everything.
Were people really complaining about that? I didn't even see this.
I haven't seen that either.
If you go on social media, I saw it on Instagram. I've seen it on Twitter.
Twitter's not real life, Bobby.
What?
Twitter's not real life.
People think it is. But I want to get back. We brought up Britt Baker, and I want to bring something up with her.
I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck they're doing with her.
I'm getting it now. So I saw an interview she did with Chris Van Vliet. Chris Van Vliet's been doing a lot of quarantine interviews. Very good stuff. Check him out. He worked in land for a long time, so that's how I know who he is. But Britt was never a heel before all this.
Mm-hmm.
And
No, because she was like a darling of the indie scene.
Yeah, exactly.
On the indie scene.
She's really trying to, become that heel, and I think
it's because she's
going
with
after Brandy is a good idea. I think it is, and she she's doing the role model thing. She said she didn't mean to copy Bailey or vice versa. I don't really fucking know, but I think she'll be. She's really coming into her own with it. Of course, she lives with one of the biggest fucking heels of all time, and
Adam Cole, baby.
So
yeah, but I think the whole role model thing. I was trying to figure out what they're doing with it. They're just trying to make her see like she's an insufferable, see. I'm not going to say the word.
Bitch.
Biatch. That's not the word he was going for.
Oh, right.
It's something that I have called Nia Jax on many occasions on this podcast.
And I think they're trying to use the fact that they don't have crowds right now because they know if she came out right now, everyone's gonna do the baby. Like Adam Cole is a big heel, but everybody loves Adam Cole. So I think that's why everybody loves her too. So yeah, they're just trying to make her seem insufferable.
Yeah, and it's working. I think it's working very well. That what she's doing. If there were it's hard to gauge.
Put her on the heel side. Like
it's hard to gauge because there's no actual crowd. I mean, we have I like what AEW is doing, by the way, with having the heel wrestlers and the face wrestlers on either side, cheering, booing, all that shit. It actually gets some noise.
Yeah, last week's show, you definitely heard a lot more people in that arena. I think people were starting to come back.
They had some randos up in the crowd for Moxley's entrance. I don't know who those people were. I don't know if they're like backstage people or what.
Are they doing these shows in the Jaguar Stadium?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought because when they got out in the hallway and what was it? Who did Jericho put in the icebox? Was it Hardy?
It was Hardy.
Yeah, it was a Jaguars icebox. So I was like, wait a minute, they're doing these shows in the Jaguars arena. I mean, a stadium, aren't they?
Yeah, well, even in the last shot of the show, they're in the tunnel. They're in the tunnel facing out towards the stadium.
So I guess
the one where Blake Bortles went out of.
Yeah,
the one that Gardner Minshew is going to come out of.
So I guess like
the second.
You mean well, that's right. Nick Foles is with the Bears now. Oh, poor Pat. Has everybody checked in on Pat?
Oh.
No, and I get that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to hope when the crowds come back that Britt comes out, she's going to get booed. I guess they're just trying to build her up with these vignettes and crowd.
The thing is that when they first tried doing this, when they tried to make her a heel, they did a horrible job at it because all she was doing was like she would just shit on Jim Ross and she was shitting on Tony Schiavone, and this is when the fans were still in attendance, and it just was tasteless. That's
and
what I looked at.
I'm a dentist. We get it. You're a real dentist. Some people still didn't get that, but she is a real dentist.
So one thing with this that like I'm starting to feel the shift in, and I felt it like probably about a year and a half ago. Baron Corbin, when he started out his heel run, I'm like, I am annoyed by this guy. Like he sucks. He's not getting any better. And then suddenly he started getting better. In the crowd heat wasn't like the X-Pac heat of like, I hate you, get the hell out of here. It was like, I hate you. I want to see somebody beat the shit out of you.
Well, he probably forgot a lot of people's breadsticks.
And I think that's what's happening with Britt, where it started off where it wasn't like, this is bad.
And I hate to make the comparison to my favorite wrestler of the 2010s, but Jinder is such a great heel because it's like, holy fuck, I don't want to see you on my TV.
Yeah.
And that's why he was the best heel champion of the 2010s. But
I don't know. I mean, Daniel Bryan brought out the hemp belt.
That's 2020.
No, that was 2019.
Oh. That's right.
And I'm the brainless one, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we did have on AEW Jon Moxley going against Frankie Kazarian. A really good match, showing you that Kaz can still fricking go, man. He's no spring chicken, but he still knows how to put on a fucking clinic in the ring.
Yeah, and then afterwards, Brody Lee, or the Dark Order, Evil Uno, and like a bunch of bums. I don't know who they are.
Stu Grayson and a bunch of bums.
Yeah, came out and started beating the shit out of Mox. Brody Lee cuts this huge promo. He's wearing his Vince McMahon suit.
Such good shit.
Such good shit, pal. And then he's like, it's just a challenge. He's like, what do you say, Mox? Throws the mic down in Mox's face. And it's like, all you had to do was ask, bro. And then kicked his ass more. So, good setup for them. Brody Lee was obviously going to get a title shot pretty quick for as much as they built him up. So,
the only thing I don't like is AEW made a big point about wins and losses matter. Right now, Brody Lee beat Marco Stunt.
Yeah, he's got like
and now he's got a title shot.
One match. Yeah.
I could beat Marco Stunt in a wrestling match.
Hey, I'm starting to get like Marco Stunt. I was not a big fan of at first. I'm starting to like the
No,
kid.
he's good, man.
He can cut good promos. I'm starting to come around. The whole Jurassic Express thing. I know we haven't seen it because they're playing it safe right now. At first, I was like, man, this is gimmicky wrestling '90s bullshit. But I'm starting to come around to it, man. Like Jungle Boy is like a real athlete, dude. He's like a real athlete.
No, yeah, that's the thing about Jungle Boy. Like everyone's like, oh, he's Luke Perry's son. Like, well, why is he even here?
No, he's good.
He's good.
And then,
very good.
And then
he's very young too.
Yes.
Yeah. Luchasaurus too, man. Luchasaurus is just fun, man. I didn't realize how big he is until he went face to face with Hager.
Yeah. He's like 6'7" and like legit like 265.
So yeah, I'm starting to come around on the whole Jurassic Express thing. I still think AEW has too many factions, but
yeah, they've got a shit ton of them.
There are a lot of factions. At the same time, WWE doesn't have enough factions, in my opinion.
Right.
But so it's kind of a nice, weird balance. One of these promotions gets balanced out, would be great.
Kind of a side. What's your favorite faction in AEW? I'll start. I'm gonna go with SCU. I like SCU a lot. I like Daniels. I think Scorpio Sky is gonna be a star one day.
Oh yeah. The tag team tournament had like what my favorite moment where Scorpio Sky went with like one shoe and his jeans on. That was awesome.
He could end up being the face of AEW one day. I could see it happening.
Yeah. My favorite AEW faction.
Bobby's favorite is we know what it is. It's Best Friends with Orange Cassidy, right?
No, I actually have somebody different.
Yeah, he has. I like the Rhodes faction. I forget what their name is, but like I enjoy the
Nightmare Collective. Is that what they're called?
Yeah, Nightmare Collective. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on the Jericho faction, which is
the Inner Circle.
The Bubbly Bunch.
Inner Circle.
Yeah, the Inner Circle. I agree with you, Jeff, on that one.
Yeah, the Inner Circle is amazing, and then you got the tag team of Jericho and Sammy Guevara, Les Sex Gods.
Yes.
Ortiz and Santana are just a fantastic tag team.
Oh,
they're a great complement to what Chris Jericho was doing. Sammy Guevara is a good young talent that they have. Jake Hagar, I almost said Sammy Hagar. Jesus Christ. Jake Hagar is definitely the bulk of the group. And then you have the GOAT. I mean, you have their leader, the fearless leader, the veteran, the go-to guy, the Le Champion, Chris Jericho. I mean, you can't go wrong with what the Inner Circle is.
I thought you were going to go with Dark Order. I know you love them.
Also with JR being out for a little bit, those past previous shows just showed another thing that Jericho is so freaking good at, and that's commentary.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
He is when he's done in the ring stuff, he's gonna be doing commentary.
If he feels like it.
Yeah, if he feels like.
He's also kind of got a band.
Yeah.
The guy's almost everything.
So we've got Brody Lee who has his title shot. I'm guessing it's going to be a double or nothing.
Yeah, they're probably just pushing that because they want to get some stars on the card. They're probably putting the win and loss sides to the side for this one, so they can have look, we got Mox versus Brody Lee. Obviously we know who those guys used to be. So.
Well, and I think part of it
don't matter right now because Cody's the number one contender, but he can't fight for the damn title anyway because he had that match.
Right, where he can't. he lost to
do it.
MJF.
So like,
Or-
I think that's by the wayside right now. Which is fine. You
but
just gotta get eyeballs on the product. That's all. They're doing a pretty good job of that, in my opinion.
I guess the one caveat I will put to this is I would imagine Brody Lee would have had a lot more matches by now, but the coronavirus kind of fucked that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah.
No.
So they were like going, this was our plan. We wanted him at Double or Nothing to go against Moxley, but
Yeah.
we had the. So I will kind of give them a pass for that, but not completely.
Well, even with the virus, they're still finding jobbers to come out and get slammed by some of these guys.
Hey, you know what? Those jobbers, you know what? They will come out every single fucking time because anytime they job, it could be another opportunity.
Yep.
I am going to bring up what AEW is doing later on in the show, too.
All right, so beyond that, we had an incredible main event. It was a dynamite street fight with Matt Hardy and Kenny Omega. It's too bad it wasn't Matt Hardy 2.0 with Kenny Omega. That would have been the greatest brainless team ever. Going against the sex gods, Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara.
That match doesn't make top 10 of Meltzer's matches. Yeah, I'm not reading him anymore.
It was so much fun.
No, I don't think it's gonna be like a 5-star match. I don't think it's gonna be like no. It was great, but it's a street fight, man.
Well, for what we're getting right now with quarantine and no crowds, they did it. Damn.
I mean, that's the best match we've had since this has all happened, in my opinion.
I mean, it was Kenny Omega, and, it was just outside the Tokyo Dome. If it was in the Tokyo Dome, then Dave Meltzer definitely would have given that a 6-star match because it's freaking Omega in the Tokyo Dome. So, fuck Meltzer.
The fact that they used a golf cart to run people over.
That was not a golf cart. I will correct you. It was a gator. We call those gators.
Oh, sorry.
It was too big to be a golf cart. It was like kind of like something you haul shit with, but it's like not big enough to be a truck or whatever.
That's good shit.
Was it a John Deere, though?
Was it a John? I don't know because that would not make it a gator if it wasn't.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that.
But you had like Matt Hardy, obviously known for ladder matches, introducing a ladder into this thing, all sorts of fun stuff going on. I mean, like the thing you brought up before, Jesse, about them having the ice box or the ice chest and like, slamming Jericho into it, and then Jericho using like the ice bag or what have you to slam into Matt Hardy. It's like, I would imagine as a wrestler, you're like, yeah, I'm a little beat up after that, but wasn't that fun as hell?
Yeah, like my favorite spot in the match was the scissor lift. Was a scissor lift. They go up on the scissor lift. He's gonna do something. Omega's gonna do something to Jericho, and Guevara and Hager come in and start beating up Damascus. They kept calling him Damascus. Matt Hardy.
Right.
And then Omega, in one smooth motion, goes off the top bar of the scissor lift and does a moonsault on all three of them. Perfect, looked awesome. Absolutely love that spot.
Side note, I know how to drive a scissor lift.
See, you could have done that for them. But so many great things with this match, and in the end, you ended up having Jericho, powerbomb Kenny Omega from the top of the gator and got the pin.
Got the pin, and then they celebrated with Dick's wings in the back, and I'm pretty sure they said "fuck" on live television.
The Last Dance.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the bill that the FCC has been sending to ESPN for that.
Hey, no, the FCC. Hey, fun fact. Cable, not regulated by the FCC. It's a courtesy.
Huh.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Was the greatest mind fuck of the Last Dance so far Michael Wilbon dropping an F-bomb on live television?
No.
It's not live television. They actually have a disclaimer at the beginning of it saying that there will be mature language.
I love it.
Although the way they word it is actually terrible.
What?
The way they word it at the beginning of The Last Dance is terrible.
There will be mature language.
Yeah, due to mature content, viewer discretion is advised, but it almost makes it sound like the mature language isn't going to be there, kind of. It's just poorly worded. It's
if
like
the
going,
last episode doesn't mention Dennis Rodman skipping practice to go to WCW, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Well, Jeff, this is the next episode is going to be your favorite. It's the Jordan baseball days.
Oh my God!
yes, Tito loves bums.
Oh my God, they're gonna show Terry too, I bet.
Oh yeah,
I retweeted this video
talk
the
to
other
Terry
day about it was the Arizona Fall League and Tito's managing Ball Gambler, and he he hit the triple in the video, which I'm like, oh, that's great, but he tried to bunt, and I'm like, this is the most Tito shit I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, there's the one thing I'm going to say about Rodman in this whole thing, like, not only was he was about to be 3-time NBA champions, he was also banging Carmen Electra in her prime while also being in the NWO.
Well, also
Main
going on
eventing
a bender in Las
pay-per-views.
Vegas, and then they sent Michael Jordan to Las Vegas.
To retrieve him.
Ball Gambler to Las Vegas.
Oh, so actually, let me correct you on that. SI had to do a retraction on that. So it was true. Jordan had to get Rodman out of this partying phase that he was in. But at that point, Rodman was already back in Chicago.
Oh, really?
And he had a condo across the street from the United Center where they were doing practice. And that's where Jordan had to go get Rodman. He didn't go to Vegas to get him.
Interesting.
He went to the street and banged on his condo door. And Carmen was in the room with him at the time. Probably another woman.
So, like, I feel like that retraction's a little, because, come on, Michael Jordan in Las Vegas, like, oh, you get Sam Baby in Las Vegas.
No,
I don't think something different.
They wouldn't have sent Jordan to Vegas to go get him. They wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, because they would never see him again.
Could you just imagine? I know this has probably been said 1,000 times. Could you just imagine if social media, Twitter existed the way it did today?
Oh.
Rodman had that Vegas vacation.
Oh my God, it'd be over. Could you imagine like some of the shit they did if LeBron did it? It'd be over.
Good Lord. Yeah, if any of these guys tried to pull that shit today, oh man. You would never
Yeah.
hear the end. Never.
Right.
Well, the thing is that if like LeBron James went out to try to find Dennis Rodman, we all know that Mark Stein would have been with LeBron James trying to find Dennis Rodman. You know?
Right.
Well, just like Ahmad Rashad was with Michael Jordan in every step of his freaking career. Like
Right.
Ahmad Rashad, who's got to be like he's like the ambassador of 90s NBA basketball.
Yeah.
He's basically Michael Jordan's shadow.
Yeah.
Respect to Ahmad Rashad. I love Ahmad Rashad. He was one of my favorites.
I do as well. It's just amazing how much access Ahmad had with this guy.
Yeah. So, all right, since we got limited time left, let's kind of rip through Raw, SmackDown, and
I'll let you
get into the card, man.
Yeah, do that, and then let's get into predictions as soon as we can.
Or actually, you know what? We should probably quickly go through NXT. I'm not going to go over everything, but we did have Johnny Wrestling beating Dominic Dijakovic using nefarious tactics, exposed the turnbuckle. And,
Dynamite drop in, Jeff.
Yeah. So Johnny Wrestling wins, moves on.
I'll say one thing because I don't know when the next time I'll be on the pod. MJF versus Jungle Boy at Double or Nothing is going to could steal the match of the night there.
That's possible.
Yeah. All right. So then we had the next round of the interim Cruiserweight Championship tournament. We had Tozawa going against Jack Gallagher. You know, one problem I'm having with these matches is they're so short. But we had Tozawa go over.
He's surprisingly got the most wins of anybody in this tournament, too.
Well,
And
he's
Jack
more
Gallagher's
champion, so that makes sense.
But the thing that sucks about this, and it'll link to Monday Night Raw, but, you know, he was in the gauntlet match and got absolutely destroyed by Lashley. It kind of sucks that you're squishing him on Raw, and then you have him on the very same channel 2 days later winning in a Cruiserweight Championship tournament.
Oh, come on. Vince doesn't think about shit like that.
I know he
Oh,
doesn't.
come on. It's WWE booking.
It's Vince, dude. Like,
It still no, it doesn't excuse shit booking. But Tozawa wins, and he favorite going to the clubhouse to make it to the next round for now. Then we had Karrion Kross making his debut in NXT
With Scarlett Bordeaux.
AKA just Scarlet.
That's real life wife, all right?
What's that?
Isn't that his real life wife?
Yes. Or girlfriend.
Yes. Girlfriend. Excellent squash to start off his career.
They say like Doomsday has arrived. It's like I wish though, after the match, after the pin, that he would beat the crap out of them even more, just to he is Doomsday. Not only is he going to squash you, he's going to humiliate you even worse after. But all in all, pretty good. I like the hype package for him. And
so, are they going to have Scarlett wrestle, or is she just going to be a valet for right now?
I think she'll be a valet for now, and then once Killer Kross, I don't care if his name is Karrion Kross now. Once Killer Kross starts to establish himself a little bit more, I think that she'll eventually get into the ring.
So we'll see where all that goes. Then we had Io Shirai going against Charlotte, and I mean, a little bit to my surprise, I thought Io was going to eat a pinfall here, but no, she got a DQ victory.
Yeah, Charlotte came out with the kendo stick and beat shit out of her with the kendo stick, and Charlotte Flair's still the champion. Holy fucking shit.
And Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley comes in, though, for the save. This is setting up for two separate,
You think two separate matches or three?
Or a triple threat, but could be two separate matches down the line or a triple threat at the next takeover, whenever that might be.
Yeah. That's the shitty thing about this pandemic. We have no NXT takeovers for quite some time.
Yeah.
Which are the greatest thing ever.
What is it?
They're the greatest thing ever.
Oh, takeovers the best thing WWE does.
Yep.
Easily.
Agreed.
Can't wait to see how that all kind of shakes out. Then we had Kushida beating Atlas by submission, again, Cruiserweight interim tournament championship. I think this is shaping up to be Kushida and possibly Tozawa for the finals here. And I believe that's happening in a couple weeks. I think I want to say the 24th, I believe. And then we had the main event, which had the Velveteen Dream going against Adam Cole, baby!
I miss doing that with you guys in person.
It's so much better. And
I miss doing it with you all at the top of Hague Towers.
22-story top. We're just screaming Adam Cole, baby, like a bunch of fucking idiots.
Kind of like when we were roaming around Norfolk, too.
Yeah.
We would do the same thing.
Good times.
I mean, how many times did we do that Red Dog?
The Beer Fest that got canceled last year and also got canceled this year.
Oh, God.
Sad.
I think we're responsible for that last year.
We are 2 years removed from a Beer Fest.
Sad.
Holy shit.
Well, was it 3 years ago we were doing it in the mud?
Yeah.
We
did it in the mud both those years because it always rained. It always rained at Beer Fest.
That's why then they canceled it the following year because it got so fucked up the previous.
Yeah, we actually fucked it up so bad that they couldn't come back.
And what's her name broke her teeth?
Oh, Rachel.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched that happen.
That was a day.
And with the Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole match, the outcome was, and to no surprise because of the whole thing that's happening with the Dream, but he is victorious. He is still your NXT champion. And not only that, he is your longest reigning NXT world champion, Adam Cole! Hey!
Yeah, they were not going to let the Velveteen Dream win the title
Right.
because of what happened on the Instagram. But
Right.
Good match. There was a ton of fucking glitter all over the goddamn ring because of his gear.
Yeah. Well,
like,
rolls,
like
man.
at the end of the match, Adam Cole just covered in glitter. I'm like, what the hell is this?
It wasn't Britt.
It was not Britt that time.
If it was toothpaste, it was definitely Brent.
Brush your mouth like Colgate. Ha!
She should
Yeah,
say that should be your catchphrase.
it should be. All right, so moving on to Monday Night Raw. We started Raw with a VIP lounge with the Raw participants in the female Money in the Bank ladder match, and it was Asuka, Nia, and Shayna Baszler. And this quickly devolved into Baszler and Asuka coming to blows, and then they ended up joining forces in taking out Bobby's favorite wrestler, Nia Jax.
Thank fucking God, that fat cow.
Yeah, you know, I didn't see Raw or SmackDown like I have for the last probably I don't know, like year, but but like here's the thing about the WWE is so good at social media
That you know.
that you know everything that happened.
Yeah, and you can watch the highlights on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. So like, why the fuck would I watch a damn shit? Why will watch
3 hours.
an hour and a half watching Hulu Raw when I can watch?
And you can go to YouTube and watch the highlights in 5 minutes.
Yeah. It's nothing. And that's where WWE gets most of their viewers anyway. So there you go. And that's why ratings are in the fucking toilet for Raw.
But, you know, I think this was, typical way, but a good way to get the three of them in the ring together and kind of build it up for the Money in the Bank.
Right. I'd like to point out that the Money in the Bank match has already been taped.
Right.
For the Observer. So
The Money in the Bank matches or the whole card?
The matches that because they're in Titan Tower. Yeah. So apparently they're doing them both at the same time.
And what they're going to do is it's going to be like
we're going to get wrestling live for like the first part of the card, and then we're basically going to get like an hour movie to end it.
Well, what I've been told is they're going to treat this just like they did with Roddy Piper versus Goldust at WrestleMania 12, where the card's just going out, and they're just going to pan to what's going on in the Money in the Bank ladder matches.
Really?
Interesting.
The
whole show.
Oh,
I guess we'll
That's
see.
what I heard.
Hey,
right.
That could be interesting storytelling there.
Well, I mean, how big is Titan Tower? Like 20 stories?
It's not 20 stories tall. It's probably more like 5. But the thing is it's a very long and wide building.
Yeah,
so they have a lot of space that they can maneuver around.
I mean, there's probably only one access point on the roof, so.
I will say this. If Nia Jax takes out Kevin Dunn, I will do a complete 180 on her.
Hey, I hope she's watching.
Yeah.
Well, it's already too late because they've already recorded it, but.
Well, if it's gonna be like that, like the Piper Goldust match, there better be a freaking white Ford Bronco in it.
Inside Titan Tower, inside the boardroom.
Oh yeah.
I need Cassius Ohno in the cafeteria at the same time.
So one thing I brought up
He's
last
fired,
week, I want them to take the dinosaur bones in Vince's office and use it as a weapon.
Vince has dinosaur bones in his office?
Oh,
He
yeah.
does.
Oh, yeah.
Did not know this.
Yeah, I think he paid like $20,000 for them.
Jesus.
Which is like $20 to Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
It's not much to me, pal.
Hey, it's pocket change, pal.
So we had 3 participants there for the women's gauntlet match, and then we had the gauntlet match or for the women's in the bank, Money in the Bank. Yeah, my English isn't working too good today. Last chance gauntlet to take Apollo Crews' spot in the Money in the Bank men's ladder match. And we had Lashley, we had Titus O'Neil, Tozawa, Shelton Benjamin, Humberto Carrillo, Garza. We had Austin Theory. We had AJ Styles. And this match ended up starting off with Lashley and Titus O'Neil, which, I think they did a pretty good job here because Lashley ran through a few performers before he got DQ'd. But, he looked like a dominant force, and hopefully this will be a building block for him because, as we all know, anybody who's watched the podcast enough knows I want to see Brock Lesnar against Bobby Lashley, even if it's a wrestling match, and in the worst way.
Anything to get him away from this stupid freaking Lana storyline. Please, for the love of God. I can't take it.
Does Lana still work there? They fired
She does.
They
Lana
fired-
still work there?
Lana's still there. Yeah, Lana's
She
still
just signed like a 5-year deal like not that long ago.
Oh God.
It seriously is up there with the dumbest things they've done in recent history, right next to the whole Kurt Angle, Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time.
So like,
What name is anymore? Guy's name?
Actually, Jason Jordan.
Jason Jordan. That whole freaking stupid ass.
what I hated about this stupid gauntlet match was AJ Styles is somehow alive after the Undertaker fucking killed him less than a month ago, a little bit more than a month ago.
Even AJ Styles was upset that they brought him back so quickly.
Like, do they not give a fucking shit about any story that they do?
No.
They're
Like,
more
come
interested in ratings and money.
But honestly,
But like even that, it's like that turns me off as a fan. Like that makes me not want to watch the show.
but honestly, I don't think they're counting these cinematic matches as part of the storylines. These cinematic matches are only because of circumstance. Like if WrestleMania went on the way it was supposed to, it was going to be AJ and Taker in the ring, not some stupid ass. Well, I'm not going to call it stupid.
It was awesome.
It was
fucking
really great. And the Firefly Funhouse match was awesome.
I agree.
I super enjoyed.
So I think they're just doing that for our entertainment and not like the story.
At the same time, though, like people like me, I need to see continuity. You know?
Yeah. There's no continuity right now. We're in the middle of a pandemic.
Agreed.
It's tough. I guess we'll get what we get tomorrow. I'm excited to see what they figure out. I'm also a little hesitant because I'm like going, how the hell are they going to do this without it feeling like a shit bomb? But you know what? The because of the Boneyard match, because of the Firefly Funhouse acid trip, I'm willing to see what they come up with.
That's a very good way to point it. That match was an acid trip.
If it wasn't for the Boneyard match and the Firefly Funhouse, WrestleMania 36 would have been worse than WrestleMania 9.
I agree.
Just saying.
Because that Edge match sucked ass.
What was great about the Firefly Funhouse, it was kind of an ode to both of their careers, you know? It's kind of a throwback. It was also a throwback to the old WWE day, old WWF days as well.
Jeff, I didn't think the Edge and Orton match was bad. I just think it just dragged on way too long.
Yeah, that's what made it bad. I mean, it was it was the second longest match in WWE and WrestleMania history behind the Iron Man match.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's, and then they did the Benoit spot like 2 weeks after Dark Side in the Ring. I'm like, no, what are you doing?
Okay, so AJ Styles ends up winning this tournament. Another little caveat. They did kind of reignite the Humberto Carrillo versus Garza feud here.
I love those guys.
Anytime you get those guys in the ring is a good idea. So looking forward to that. Ricochet apparently peed in Vince's cereal again because he and Cedric Alexander, a.k.a. Two Fly, lost to Brendan Vick and Shane Thorne, who are under the tutelage of MVP.
Wait, what? Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not.
What the fuck did Ricochet do?
Are these guys? What?
Apparently, Vince McMahon is really high on the Vink kid too.
Who?
Brandon Vink.
There's a guy named Brendan Vink.
I don't even know who the fuck he is.
This fucking guy
Who the fuck is that?
And Shane Thorne was in TM61.
Yeah, I know who that is, but
their team now at MVP is he doesn't come out to the ring with them, but he kind of advises them and is kind of a hype guy for them.
I thought MVP was a one-off.
Well, he was a one-off for wrestling. I think he signed a new deal with WWE to be a producer and a character.
I can see him being a backstage producer. I can see him being
what the fuck, dude? Are you kidding me? Ricochet losing to Shane Thorne?
Naked pictures of Linda McMahon? What is going on here?
I don't know, man.
What the fuck, dude? Come on.
Dude, he needs to
trying to Daniel Bryan him?
He needs to get out of it. AEW would make him a star. If he could go to Japan and be a star. He needs to get the fuck out of WWE.
One of the best wrestlers in WWE losing to Shane Thorne. Fuck
Yeah.
that.
All right, so then my favorite thing that happens, not often enough apparently, we had the tag team champions losing in a non-title match. I fucking hate when they do this. Why don't you beat all the other teams in the division to get yourself a shot at the tag team titles? Why don't we stop having tag team champions lose in non-title matches? It's so retarded and so overdone. Literally, they just did this with SmackDown. Now they're doing this again, but with Raw this time. It's like, come on. Like, the Street Profits just had a WrestleMania title defense, and now you have them lose to the Viking Raiders, and we might get this as like a pre-show match tomorrow. We could get it as a match on Monday. Who knows? But apparently the Viking Raiders are the next team that's going to have a match against the Street Profits for the title.
And
That's a Money in the Bank. Yeah.
Side note, Brendan Fink was signed to a developmental contract and put on NXT in March of 2019. He is a wrestler from the independent scene. He is a former bodybuilder, shocker. So that explains everything. And he's 6'5", 253 pounds. So obviously Vince gets a hard on for him.
That's called the shocker!
The quicker Vince sells and get the hell out of this, the better the wrestling is going to get.
no, I just want Triple H to take over because he understands.
Yeah. I would be kind of bummed, though, if Vince sells and Triple H is gone, too. That would kind of suck.
Well, the thing is, they could sell to whatever company they want, but they could still have Triple H run it, or Vince run it for that matter.
Vince needs coronavirus!
I could see ESPN and Fox doing that, putting Triple H in charge of it.
Because that happens a lot when companies are bought.
Yeah,
They'll keep the management in place.
Fox doesn't have anybody with wrestling experience that can come in there and take over and keep the product going. They would have to hire somebody like Triple H.
Right.
Wait, there is a Fox employee that they can hire who has experience in the wrestling industry to run the shit.
Are you talking
Brodus
about
Clay?
CM Punk.
CM Punk? Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Ryan Satin.
Oh, God.
Fox keeps doing things with CM Punk, and I think they're just doing it to punk us.
You never know.
They're kind of teasing that he's going to come back.
Well, I mean, the thing is, allegedly, Punk's representatives reached out to WWE a little bit before WrestleMania, and allegedly, WWE didn't want to talk about it. Don't want to talk about bringing him in to wrestle this, that, or the other thing. To me, I don't believe it. I believe that they probably have talked. This is just their way of keeping the hush-hush on it.
And
As
the
much as
biggest...
Hunter hates CM Punk, I think he sees the dollar signs. So
No,
I'm
that's the
pretty
thing.
sure to fucking figure something out.
Triple H, yeah, they don't like each other, but Triple H knows the numbers and the money that would come in if Punk came back.
And the biggest rumor going on right now is that everybody thinks that he is the SmackDown hacker.
You never know.
Well, I thought it was going to be Ali because of the little flashing
The little
lights.
light, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever it is,
But then when someone slowed it down, it was Xavier Woods' voice.
You never know.
and honest to goodness, whatever it is, unless it's CM Punk, it's going to be stupid. Sorry. Not
It's
sorry.
probably going to be like Hornswoggle.
That was somebody else said that too!
But Hornswoggle was in AEW now. I saw him during an AEW show a couple weeks ago.
Well, who knows? There are so many people out there that, like, I don't know if they have, like, a firm contract, whether it's AEW or like, ROH, where, like, hey, WWE can pay me, but who knows? And we'll just touch on this one briefly. We had Charlotte beating Liv Morgan, but Liv cut a promo before it, kind of saying, hey, it was losing to Charlotte that caused me to, like, rethink everything in my wrestling career. And Liv put on a good show here, and Charlotte goes over. I'm slightly confused that she's on Raw. She is the NXT champion, not the Raw Women's champion. But
Well,
I think they don't know what to do with Charlotte anymore. I don't think they really know what to do.
apparently she's ratings and she's popular, but no one fucking wants to see her anymore. I will say, though, Liv Morgan coming into her own, very impressed so far with this next run. Has absolutely become a sniper since he came back.
Snipe.
They'll snipe silly, boys.
And as I think it was Eric said last week on the podcast, I should get a whole bunch of blow-up dolls that look like her and gauntlet my way through them.
Awful.
Yeah.
But
and then the main event of Raw, we had Drew McIntyre going against Murphy. Murphy, great hand in the ring, could make anybody look fantastic. And
it was great. Buddy Murphy.
So with Murphy here, it sucks that he has to be the person eating the pinfall to set up the match for Rollins on pay-per-view. Rollins faked that he was leaving and ends up coming out, giving a super kick to McIntyre and goes for the stomp, and McIntyre got himself out of the ring and to safety, but kind of leaves you going, all right, what's going to go on here? But not a bad way to end the show. A little bit cookie cutter, but it's fine. It's fine. It's bad. It did what it did. All right, moving right along to SmackDown. We had Sonya Deville beating God's Greatest Creation, Mandy Rose, roll-up victory. I think this feud has a little bit more.
This was a pay-per-view match?
No.
Really?
Yeah, they had their. I don't think it's.
I don't think it's the end of this.
I think that's just a build up.
But you gave it away on television.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
That's dumb. That's one of the best feuds going.
Storylines. Yeah.
Best storyline, one of the best feuds going right now, and you just give it away on TV? No. That should have been that Money in the Bank.
That probably will happen again tomorrow.
I'm wondering if it's going to be part of the pre-show, because there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches listed.
Go ahead, Jesse.
I think I saw that as part of the card that Sonya's taking on Mandy Rose again.
Oh, okay.
But I will say I'm very impressed with how Sonya has used her heel turn.
Yeah.
Excellent heel. Fucking great.
She's really coming.
Mandy's coming into her own. I think these last couple of years they've been on the main roster, it's finally building up to this, and I'm very excited to see what they do next. I think
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
Well, according to Wikipedia, there's 8 matches tomorrow. They added a couple.
Yeah, the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders and Mandy and Sonya, right?
Nope.
Well,
the tag team titles are actually not on the card as of right now.
Okay.
They actually have.
What did they add?
They added R-Truth versus MVP.
Yes.
Hey.
How about it?
We need Gronk to run in there so MVP can win the 24/7 title.
I wouldn't doubt it happening.
And then the pre-show we have Jeff Hardy versus Cesaro.
Oh, did they take off the Sami Zayn Drew Gulak match?
Yeah.
Really?
Why'd they remove that? That was going to be a good one.
I think Sami Zayn is injured.
Again?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Because they have the women's, they have the men's Money in the Bank, Strowman versus Wyatt, Bayley versus Tamina, McIntyre versus Rollins, and then the New Day versus the Miz and Morrison versus the Lucha House Party versus Jeff's favorite tag team, the Forgotten Bones.
Oh, God.
Also, Jeff Hardy versus Cesaro, too.
Yeah.
All right, so your thing is not saying
It was going to be
Mandy versus Sonya.
Correct.
Okay. Well, interesting. All right. Breaking news. So we did have an 8-man tag match on SmackDown this week, where we did have the Forgotten Bums with Miz and Morrison going against the Lucha House Party and the New Day.
I know you guys got to get through this, but I got to get to work soon. I don't want to do predictions.
Yeah, man.
So I'll let you see if you can kind of fly through SmackDown.
Yeah, we'll fly through SmackDown. Miz and Morrison and Forgotten Bums end up going over. Wednesday, Dorado ate the skull-crushing finale. Then we had a bit of a fun little promo with Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman, and Bray trying to give back the black sheep mask to Braun. Braun doesn't accept it, and he's like going, come back home, come back home. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that goes. And then we had Tamina Snuka and Lacey Evans beating Sasha Banks and Bayley. And
I believe Bayley ate the pinfall in that too.
So, I mean, leaving Tamina looking strong, but, Booking 101 says what the outcome of that match will be.
Yep.
All right, so let's get into the predictions.
All right.
All right, so let's start off with R-Truth versus MVP. I'll start. I'll go with MVP in this. Like, R-Truth has been so fantastic lately. MVP has not gotten much of anything. I thought he said it was his retirement match, I think, Royal Rumble, but and I think he had the match the night after on Monday Night Raw, but I'll go with MVP here. I think they're going to probably do more than just this. You're not bringing them back for Money in the Bank just for nothing. So I'll go with MVP.
I'll go with R-Truth.
Yeah, I'll go with R-Truth. Are we going to see the 24/7 title back in the picture at all with this?
Well, Gronk has to lose it.
That is true.
I think we're going to see a 24/7 title change in Week 1 between the Bucks and the Saints.
If Fox does that, then I'll stop watching football.
All right,
I
Pepe.
would keep watching football for the rest of my life if they do that.
Pepe, who do you got?
I have Truth going over on this one.
All right.
I think MVP is just going to be a producer for a while.
And this,
All right.
I wonder if this is just a fill-in match because they had to take off Zayn and Gulak.
Maybe.
This could be like a last-minute fill-in match between two vets who know how to work the ring. So
Sure.
Should be a good match, though.
Then we got Jeff Hardy versus Cesaro. Now, I don't know if this is part of some sort of build-up because he had a thing with Sheamus on SmackDown, but Jeff Hardy going against Cesaro, who was part of The Bar. My feeling is Jeff Hardy wins this. He's coming back. He had the win against Corbin, and they seem to like Cesaro is in the old Dolph Ziggler spot where he's there to make people coming back or new people look good. So I'm going to go with Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy.
I'll go Hardy. My thing with Hardy, though, is like every time they bring him back and building him up, something happens in his personal life, and he has to take time off.
Yep.
So hopefully or he gets hurt. Yeah, hopefully this time around things are better for him. So I'll go Hardy.
I'm going with Turnt Hardy for this one.
All right.
Clean sweep.
Clean sweep. All right. All right. So let's go with the Fatal 4-Way match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. We got New Day versus Mrs. Morrison versus the Lucha House Party. Why are they in the match? Versus the Forgotten Bums. Why are they in the match? I know that they beat the New Day in a non-title match, but why the fuck?
I guess the reason they're in is because of the fact that Jimmy Uso was out until 2021, and they needed a tag team, so they elevated the Forgotten Bumps in the main roster, and that's why they're in the match.
What happened to Jim?
Why is Lucha House Party in this match?
I don't know.
What happened to
Because
Jim?
the last thing they did that what was relevant is they cheated to beat the Revival. I don't understand why they're in the match except for like, hey, let's have a Fatal 4-Way because we just had a 3-way ladder match that only had 3 people. I don't know. I have to say I'm going New Day retains.
I'm going with the Forgotten Bumps, baby! Woo!
All right. Hesse.
I just spit the side of my mouth. Oh.
Yeah, why is Lucha House Party?
Couple of bodies.
Just the New Day, that's like WWE's thing. I'm gonna have to go with the New Day. I want to go with Miz and Morrison again, but I don't think they just took the belts off of them. I don't think they're gonna put them right back on them. And also, this match, we could end up getting a Miz Morrison breakup in a feud. Who knows?
Never know.
I'll go New Day. New Day retains.
All right.
I'm going to go with New Day, and they're going to get the pin on the Forgotten Bum. I don't know which one. Probably Steve Cutler.
All right. So, I mean, that's a little shocking to me because I think Lucha House Party is probably going to take the pin. Maybe that's what they're there for.
Forgotten Bums.
This is why they were in the match last night, to eat the pinfall.
So, all right. Then we have Bailey versus Tamina. Based off of what we saw at the SmackDown, I'm going with Bailey here. As much as I predicted the long shot Tamina to win at WrestleMania, I'm not going to pick that again.
There's no way they're going to give Tamina the belt. Yeah, I'll go Bailey. Is Tamina a face now? I don't get it.
She's whatever they need her to be.
She's the Big Show. Bailey.
Has anyone watched the Big Show yet?
No.
One of the viewers of our podcast has and says if you're wanting to watch a family show, it's all right.
Oh, wait a minute. Hey, did you guys talk about this? Did they take off Street Profits versus the Viking Raiders?
It was not on Wikipedia.
Yeah, it's not on Wikipedia, but it's on CBS Sports.
Well, we could talk about it once we get there.
Oh, is that going to be a match? Is it?
I don't know.
If it's on Wikipedia, more likely than not, unless they make it like an announcement like an hour before the show, because a lot of times they like to add matches right before the show starts.
All right, so Hefe, Bailey, or Tamina?
Going Bailey with this one. Don't think your title run's done quite yet, and I've never trusted Tamina anyway, so.
I wonder, are we finally going to get, with this match, the Sasha turn on Bailey?
They did like a soft turn like a couple years back, and it seemed like they were building towards a WrestleMania match, and then they like overcooked it, and then Sasha had her tism and left for all that time, and they're like rebuilding towards that. So, I mean, it could be the start of it. I mean, I don't know if they want that to be a SummerSlam thing, because originally, like, SummerSlam was going to be in Boston, and having Sasha in Boston, her hometown, having a hero's return.
It feels like every week when I watch those two in the ring, like, hugging each other and like one's putting the other hands up, I feel like I'm just waiting for one of them to whack the other one. I feel like it's coming soon.
Coming soon to a pay-per-view near you.
This one, it could be Bailey retains and then Sasha comes in and raises her hand up and then kicks her in the stomach or something. I don't know.
Could be.
I got something. Don't worry, I got something brewing.
Oh, God, I fear for all of humanity right now.
Right.
Maybe. That's something brewing.
All right, so just in case they do have this match, Street Profits versus Viking Raiders, if they have it.
Oh, it's the Raw Tag Team title, so I'm going with the Viking Raiders because that's what Vince McMahon does. He takes a giant shit on the Raw Tag Team division, which is the reason why the Revival left in the first place.
And the SmackDown Tag Team division, too.
SmackDown has it a little bit better than Raw, though.
Tag teams are afterthought.
Because I think the Street Profits, I think WWE likes what they have with them.
I agree with Jesse. I'm going with the Street Profits.
I like the Street Profits, man. It's a Red Solo Cup party.
Oh, I do. I love them as a tag team, but it's typical Vince booking, so that's why I'm going with the Viking Raiders.
Hefe?
Viking Raiders are going to win because we guys have another land champion.
Land.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Bless you.
Thank you.
We got Seth Rollins going against Drew McIntyre for the championship, for the, is this Universal title? I forget at this point if it's WWE or Universal.
You're going to piss us off and Seth's going to win the goddamn belt. Watch.
No, it is Universal title, isn't it?
I'm going with Drew McIntyre. I think he's supposed to be the dominant babyface.
I'm going with Drew.
Drew?
Yeah, I'm going Drew. I don't think Seth's going to win it, but
They might do that just to piss you off, Jesse.
that'd be typical Vince fashion to piss off. And that would, if Seth wins this, it's going to piss off the entire fucking WWE universe. And guess what? Vince doesn't give a shit.
Yep.
Yeah, he should because the fucking ratings are so fucking in the toilet right now.
But I don't think that stops Fox or USA from paying him.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so then we have Braun Strowman going against Bray Wyatt. Again, this is Bray Wyatt, not The Fiend.
That would be shit. that would be shitty if they took the belt off of Drew and he never got to have it in front of a crowd. That'd be really
It
fun.
would. So Braun against Bray Wyatt. To me, it feels like they're making it Bray Wyatt because they don't want the Fiend to lose again. So I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt here. I wish they did a little bit better job of the overall build-up with this, but again, the coronavirus has kind of screwed some of that stuff up. But I'm going with Braun.
I'm going to go with Braun via disqualification.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some tomfoolery in this match,
Yeah.
or be some fuckery. Like,
Definitely some chicanery.
yeah, Braun's going to retain, but neither one of them are going to look bad at the end of it. Like, I do think they put the belt on Braun. They probably think they put the belt on him a little too early, and they at least want to let him have a little bit of a run and see in front of a crowd and see how it goes. So yeah, there'll be some chicanery in this match, and Braun will retain it because of it. Who knows? It could be because somebody debuts or something.
It's gonna be Braun. They would have beat him if he wasn't gonna win. So.
All right.
And this could lead to like a SummerSlam thing where like we see the Fiend versus Braun.
Yeah.
It could be.
But then like if we're doing all that, then so you're telling me we're gonna have a pay-per-view, which is probably the 5th biggest one, right? Without a single title change?
Well, we'll see.
We got 2 Money in the Banks that could cash in.
Well, I guess
Yeah, because if they're doing the Money in the Bank as like the cards going on, whoever wins whatever Money in the Bank could end up cashing in. Like they win their match.
Could fly all the way to
all the way
Florida.
to Connecticut down
Cash in.
for a pandemic.
You never know.
I mean, it's Vince McMahon's private jet.
Yeah, his like 1 million mile an hour jet.
Yeah.
If they do that, I'm fucking done. I can't fucking.
No, it's gonna be the white Ford Bronco screaming down 95.
Oh my god.
There you go, Jesse.
They'll use shots from WrestleMania 9 from the OJ chase, and that's how they'll put it in there.
So anyway, the women's Money in the Bank competitors, we've got Asuka, we've got Shayna Baszler, we got Nia Jax, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, and Carmella. To me, I could kind of see this going 2 ways, but I think I'm going to go with Lacey Evans winning this.
I got a bad feeling.
Back and forth on this one.
Jeez.
What the hell is that?
Who do you got, Bobby?
My brain that doesn't exist is telling me that, actually no, my gut is telling me it's going to be Shayna Baszler, but my brain that doesn't exist is telling me it's going to be Nia Jax. So
You're a gambler. What do you do?
I always go with my gut. So I am going to go with Shayna Baszler.
I'm wondering, are they ready to give Lacey this kind of a push? I know they've been trying to, push her a little bit. Is she ready to kind of take this? Why do I got a feeling it's going to be fucking Carmella again? I just do.
Well, if James Ellsworth's there, she's winning it.
Right. All right, so Jesse has Carmella.
Yeah, I just got a feeling it's going to be freaking Carmella again. This will be what, her third one? Her third Money in the Bank match?
Technically speaking.
Yeah. All right, Hefe.
Even though
go ahead.
Sorry, it should be Shayna Baszler. What the fuck are they doing with Asuka?
Who knows?
Who knows? It's been like 3 years and they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Triple H knew what to do with her.
Yeah, it's true.
Who do you have, Hefe?
Lacey Evans is going to come out on top here, and I mean, they love her. She has a show that she's hosting, so it makes total perfect sense to have Lacey Evans be Money in the Bank. Of course, I thought she was going to win a title at Mania.
Right.
That's my thing. If she wins it, then she's going to get her second title opportunity. Remember, she lost the first one.
Yep.
It's fine, though. I mean, it's Money in the Bank. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
You have 365 days to cash in that briefcase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
are they ready to put the belt on her?
I mean, it could be 6 months from now when we have fans back in the stands, hopefully.
Right.
I think that's when they're going to want to do these cash-ins. I really hope so.
But when people are there.
Yes.
All right. So then we have the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. We got AJ Styles. We've got Otis. We've got Rey Mysterio, Aleister Black, Baron Corbin, and Daniel Bryan.
It's probably going to be freaking Nia Jax.
Nia Jax going to win the men's. That's interesting.
All right. You know what? My brain says AJ, but I'm going to go with my dark horse and say Aleister Black wins this match.
You know, I'm going to go with my heart on this one. Otis Dosovich, baby! Oh!
They're not ready to put Otis in a title picture.
Here's the thing. Otis Dosovich came out and did an interview earlier this week and said that if he wins the Money in the Bank ladder match, he's going to use the briefcase to cash in so that him and Tucker could actually go for the tag team titles. Which I thought was stupid because he's like, they didn't specify which championship you could cash in on. They just said you could cash in on any championship.
That's true. I mean, they've always said that.
It's as stupid as when Velveteen Dream had a chance at going for the NXT title and went for the North American title.
Yes.
Didn't make any sense.
Just like the Katie Vick storyline. But I think it's Dosovich. I think Vince is a huge fan of Dosovich. There's no reason that for me to think any differently. The whole way that they built him up for WrestleMania, gave him a singles match, got the kiss at the end. I think that Otis has a lot of momentum heading into this match, better than anybody else. So give me Otis Dosovich.
He got a title in that he is now the on-camera boyfriend of God's greatest creation.
Yes. A lot of neckbeards are very happy for Otis Dosovich.
His storyline.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
Richard with Savvy Piscatelli. The former Browns great.
Yes.
Who's now an unemployed wrestler.
It sucks that this match couldn't be in the ring because this is outside of Baron Corbin, it's some fantastic in-ring work.
Yep, I agree.
Why is Ricochet not in this match?
Because he peed in Vince's cereal.
Ricochet needs to be in this goddamn match. My gut is going with AJ, but I think I'm going to go with Daniel Bryan. I think this is how they put him back in the title.
Okay. I don't hate that. I really don't.
I mean, I'd love to see Rey Mysterio win it. That could be like a crowning achievement for, like a Hall of Fame career. But I don't even think Ray's going to be a full-time performer in the next couple years. So.
No, I think Ray now is doing like 100 shows a year when they're like doing live shows. I mean, he did have his match against Brock at one of the Sand shows.
You know what's crazy? One of the last things I got to attend with a crowd of people was when Monday Night Raw was here in D.C.
Nice.
And when Ray came out, I mean, the fucking roof lit off. And he still gets an amazing reaction when he comes out.
Yeah. People love Mysterio.
But my gut wants to go with AJ, but I'm going to go with Daniel Bryan.
All right.
That's not a terrible pick.
All right, Hefe. Who you got, man?
They wouldn't have brought AJ Styles back this quickly after literally killing him on television to not give him a title run. I think it's going to be AJ Styles.
I think.
All right.
I mean, this is why I want to go with my gut with AJ, because I think this is how they give him, like, hey, thanks for doing that thing with Taker. Here's how we put you back. Shut up, Bobby. I'm not changing.
We were wondering how many people you were going to pick.
Any of these guys would, outside of Baron Corbin, except I can see why Baron Corbin can win it, because Vince knows that would piss everybody off.
Honestly, the only person in this match that I could see not winning it is actually Rey Mysterio. You could seriously make a case for any of the other 5 participants in this match, except for Rey Mysterio. Like Aleister Black, he's been red hot too. Otis Dosovich has been on some incredible momentum. AJ Styles, getting dug out of a hole and put in this match makes a hell of a lot of sense. Daniel Bryan. I mean, he's Daniel Bryan. I don't really need to say anything else. And Baron Corbin, you know, he had the failed attempt a few years ago, so why not give him his redemption one where he can actually go out and win the title?
And speaking of Aleister Black, I didn't realize like him and Paul Heyman have a really close relationship.
Yeah.
I read something about that this week. Like,
well,
Heyman is one of Aleister Black's mentors backstage.
And the fact that Paul Heyman is the head writer for Raw and he's in charge of everything, he's the one that's actually in charge of Aleister Black getting this push too.
Yeah, so I could definitely see it being Aleister as well. So. But if both Baron and Seth win on this card, I'm telling you right now, I swear to God, I won't watch another minute of WWE. It will be all AEW and New Japan.
So 999 yen. You still pay 999 yen a month?
No, I finally canceled it like 2 months ago.
All right, so before we get to the end of this show, just want to put in a couple of plugs here. Make sure that you like us on Facebook, like us on Periscope, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribe to us on YouTube. And when we do the live show, make sure you check us out on the Wrestling Marks page on Facebook at facebook.com/WrestleMarks.
And we are the F and Marks. That's THE, the letter F, the letter N, MARKS.
And that is our handle for all of those social medias.
And if you like, follow, and subscribe to us, we will like, follow, and subscribe to you back.
And if you guys want to pitch your stuff, feel free, man.
Jesse, you go first.
You can follow me on Twitter, DC News Photog. It's pretty simple.
Sweet.
You follow me on Twitter, I'll follow you all back.
Fair.
Wait, I thought your handle was I Heart Tom Wilson.
That's my side handle. Oh,
Burner.
Toppling Tommy.
UFC 249 tonight. Don't forget, this is our first taste of live sports outside of freaking Korean baseball.
Hey, you got NASCAR next week, buddy.
Yeah, my parting shot is, they just had a fighter who tested positive for the coronavirus yesterday who's at the weigh-ins. I don't know what Dana White is thinking here. He's got some big cojones, but I'm interested to see how they pull off UFC 249.
Yeah, cool. All right.
I am Real Jeff Snyder on Twitter. That's the word real, REAL. Jeff, JEFFSNYDER. You follow me, I'll probably follow you back as long as you're interesting. And
yeah.
I'm on Instagram, same handle, Real Jeff Snyder. If you want to hit me up there, you can do that too. If you have interesting pictures, I will follow you back.
Yeah. F and Marks Hall of Famer.
Hey, this quarantine edition's been great. It's been great to see you guys. I haven't caught up with y'all in a little while.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, man.
Enjoyed it.
Good seeing you.
When this pandemic's over, I'll try to get down there to visit everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. And we'll have to figure out a time to get up there.
Actually, I got an idea. I'm gonna hit you guys up after the show about something. So sorry.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Before we finish off, we have one more thing.
Really? Are you telling me that after 173 episodes, this being 174, at an astonishing 1,738 days, today, May 9th of 2020, F. Marks Hall of Famer Curtis Echo is still alive in the 2015 Royal Rumble.
Yes! It doesn't matter if he's been released. He's still alive in the Royal Rumble, damn it. So, that does it for episode 174 of the F and Marks podcast. I'm Jay.
I am the brainless one.
I'm El Jefe.
I'm Hesse.
And we will catch you all next week, and we'll be back live, and we'll have a lot of fun, and hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. And make sure you mark out with your guac out.
And wash your hands,
everybody.
Wash your hands. Use hand sanitizer. Goodbye.
Wear your masks.
Yeah.